this lockdown then?
But to be fair, we've had loads of plans from. So obviously I'm at Derby at the moment, so they've given us loads of plans to do the training and stuff. So been keeping busy with that. Lots of training sessions, out on the track a little bit. Got a track close by, so I've been doing that. Been doing the watt bike. Went in yesterday, first time in 2 months to do the COVID-19 test. So hopefully in the next 2 days that'll come through clear for obviously all of us. Hopefully with a bit of luck, and then we can then crack on Monday and start training in twos, and then see how it develops. We're getting tested twice a week, and then hopefully we can all stay safe and stay, hopefully clear of the virus, and try and kind of get back to some sort of normality.
Yeah, perfect. So for the guys joining us online right now, we've got Ben Hamer here, professional goalkeeper, played close to 300 appearances, started at Reading as a young kid in the academy, stayed there for a number of years, 6 years, loans Crawley, Brentford, Exeter, then joined Charlton 2011 to 14, Leicester City 2014 to 18 with loans to Nottingham Forest and Bristol City, and currently at Huddersfield. Also was on loan to Derby before the lockdown happened.
Got a few clubs, didn't he?
Yeah, at a young age with plenty of years to go. So Ben, first of all, obviously we just mentioned about before on the phone call you're going to do some fitness after this. So how in the uncertain times, obviously with yourself being a professional, but these kids obviously been in the same situation on a different scale. How have you kept focused and also kept your obviously your body fit as well?
It's been difficult really, because obviously we've had 8 weeks off, and that's usually like a off season, probably more than what we get in the off season. And to be fair, whilst I'm during that, I usually tend to stay fit anyway. If I'm on holiday, I always find a gym and try and stay on top of it, because I don't like becoming out of shape, mate, to be honest. So that's always like something I've had instilled in me from a young age. I don't like to get too far out of shape, and then obviously when you come back to pre-season, you're miles behind everyone else. So I've never really been of that ilk, to be honest. So I've just done all the programs that we've been put on to do, and I've always had in my mind that maybe in 3 weeks' time we'll be back playing. So I've always had that carrot dangled in front of me that I could be back training in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So I think that kind of keeps you going when you get a certain date put in front of you, and you think, right, okay, I've got to train towards that, and then we'll be back in the mixer. But obviously it's been delayed every couple of weeks. It's been delayed further. But I think from the start we didn't realise it was going to be a 2-month break, Mark, to be honest. So we always thought it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks. So you just kind of stay in shape and do what you can to kind of keep you in that kind of in that mindset that you're going to be going back to play.
Perfect. So obviously there's a lot of people on the call right now who are youngsters. They're starting in the game or kind of developing in the game. So I want to kind of take it back to your kind of your journey and where you started and where you got today. So what was your kind of what first got you into enjoying football or liking it and got you started really?
Well, my dad was a big fan of football. My dad was really big into his football, and he used to, wherever we were, he used to go to games just to support the local team. And when obviously he was younger, he used to watch Bristol City because he's from Somerset, and he then took a job when I was 2 in Germany, in Munich. So we obviously moved out there when I was 2 years old, and then obviously when I started understanding what was going on, about 3 or 4, he used to take me to the Bayern Munich games. He used to have a season ticket at Bayern Munich, which was it was brilliant, mate. So
that was
my first ever experience of football. He'd taken me to the Olympic Stadium, like 80,000 people. I think it was like Bayern Munich against Hamburg or something like that. And I remember just looking around, seeing all like the flags going off and the atmosphere, and I was like, I think at that moment I was kind of like taken aback by it, and obviously watching the football. I think from that moment on, I always had a football in my hand, and every opportunity I got, I tried to like get him to come outside and boot balls at me, because I was obsessed with Oliver Kahn, mate. The Bayern Munich keeper. Yeah, I used to watch him like doing his warm ups, and during the game, I don't know what it was about him, but I was just obsessed with watching the goalkeeper, and I think that's kind of where the love of it came from. So I used to get the old man to take me down the park and just boot balls at me, basically. I probably wasn't any good, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I used to just love diving around, and that was all because of watching Oliver Kahn and my dad taking me to the game. So that was probably my first experience of finding love for football.
Great answer, guys. So Oliver Kahn for the younger generation was probably an absolute legend of a footballer, probably in the mould of like Ter Stegen right now, and Manuel Neuer. Them kind of the Germans have bred unbelievable goalkeepers for years and years, and probably were the first nations to start kind of making that position their own. So what a start in football that was your favourite. Would I be right in saying that was actually your favourite player as well?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah. But I bet you look back at it now and you think, obviously, to the games that he could have taken, he was probably one of the world's best goalkeepers. And I was watching him every week in the home game. So yeah, it was really fortunate that my dad had a job out there and he was taking me to the games from a young age. So yeah, that was kind of where the love came from. So yeah, big inspiration.
Perfect, great answer. So when in them younger years, even though you said like you'd love to diving around, your dad kicking footballs at you and things like that. Obviously, that parental support as well. But what did you ever play on pitch? Did you ever play on pitch, or was it always in goal? What's your
Mate, I loved it. I loved playing on pitch, mate. Yeah, so I used to so I always used to play in goal for my local teams, and then at half time, teams I usually played for we always used to be like good teams, so we'd be like 5-6-0 up at half time, and then I'd say, "Oh, can I go out on pitch for the second half?" Because I'd get bored if I didn't have anything to do. I'd want to get involved, so I used to go up front and score goals and that. And I was quite handy up front, to be fair. But I think when it really came down to it, when you start going to the big pitches after you leave like the under 12s and the 13s, you go to full size pitches. I soon realised I couldn't run, mate. I soon realised I didn't have the engine for it, so I think I better stick to goal because I'd run up the wing and then put a decent ball in the box and I'd be blowing, mate. So I knew pretty early on that I wasn't going to have the engine for playing out on pitch. So yeah, I stuck to being goal and proved to be the right decision, mate.
I remember you doing a few of them in training at Brentford, going a little mazy and then pulling a truck trying to get back.
Yeah. Used to love it. Used to love even like in training when I first started. If there was too many goalkeepers and there weren't enough players on the pitch, I'd always volunteer to go out on pitch and try my hand at playing out there. Obviously, the level was a bit too high for me at that point, but I used to always love going out and try and score a few goals and stuff. So yeah, I did love playing out on pitch.
Great. Yeah, because as a coach now, obviously I've retired. I find it really important. Everyone I speak to in the game, they always say how important it is for keepers to be good with their feet, to have a go on pitch, join in training, just because it's so important for the modern day keeper. Do you agree with this? And when you were growing up, do you think you playing on them pitch in that times and were going on them mazy runs, or even when you were at Reading stuff, did your coaches encourage you to go on pitch because it would improve your all-round game as a goalkeeper?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't when I was coming through the system. I probably was still I was probably the end of that generation of keepers kicking it as far as they can. I think I was at the end of that. They'd only just started to develop the keepers playing out from the back when I was about 17, 18, I'd say. And I think the first experience I had of it was probably when I was 16 with Brendan Rodgers, and he was my coach at Reading. He was my academy manager.
Oh, what a style!
And he wanted the keepers to be able to play out from the back and like clip balls into the fullbacks, play balls through the lines, pass the strikers into the sitting midfielders, like at the bottom of the diamond, to then turn on the ball and work out that way. Because if you do look at it, I think sometimes the pitches dictate your style of football. In the lower leagues, it's maybe not as. I don't think you can play that style of football in the lower leagues if the pitches are bad. But whereas if you move up the leagues and you've got better quality of pitches, it's an easier thing to do. So yeah, at Reading he developed that with me, and I used to enjoy it. We used to get involved in possessions and stuff like that, and that really developed me with my feet. As when I was 14, 15, it wasn't really a thing. It was just you got the ball and you booted out the pitch. That was a done thing. It was like, right, goal kick, right, everyone squeeze up, hit areas on the side for flick-ons and stuff like that. That was kind of how it was. But then obviously I hit it at the right time in the academy where I could develop that. And even now I'm at Derby. I work for a manager called Philip Koku, and he incorporates the keepers and everything. Playing out from the back and getting involved in small-sided possession games and stuff like that, because he wants his keepers to be comfortable with the ball at their feet. So massive. I think keepers should be getting involved in outfield drills and doing some of the technical drills that the outfield players do, because the way that the game's developing, the goalkeepers need to be able to deal with the ball and pass the ball You know what I mean? Short distances and long distances. So yeah, really important now.
Perfect. I think that's a great message for the kids, because I come across kids who goalkeepers who are reluctant to use their feet. Like you said, as you got older, you didn't feel quite comfortable, or you took you out of your comfort zone. But I think they're the qualities that you probably need to really work on harder. And the fact that it's not comfortable and you don't like doing it is actually a positive, that you can work on that and become a better player through working on the things you don't enjoy. And do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think this is just my opinion, but I think goalkeepers now 90% of a match is dealing with the ball with your feet, because you may only face 2 or 3 shots in a game. So you're working in training for an hour and a half and you're just working on shot stopping. Realistically, you're only going to make 2 or 3 saves in a game. So there's different aspects you need to work on. The map, I probably get 100 touches of the ball with my feet in a game, whereas I'd probably only make 3 saves. So yeah, my pass completion over the years has got better and better because I work on it more and more, and the goalkeeper coaches work on that with us. So obviously I work with Shay Given at the moment at Derby, and we do a lot of stuff with distribution, hitting fullbacks, breaking through the lines, getting midfielders onto the ball. And yeah, if that's the way your manager wants to play the game, then he needs to know that your keeper is going to be comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he can, you know, adapt the style of play that he wants you to adapt. So yeah, I've always been a keen learner of doing the outfield stuff with the boys, because ultimately it makes me more comfortable with the ball at my feet, and I know that shot stopping is only 10% of my game on a match day.
Perfect. Great answer on that. So my next question, I'm gonna kind of take you a rough kind of thing from the age of maybe 8 to 15. So was there any kind of obviously you talked about watching Oliver Kahn going to Bayern Munich and getting that love for the game, and probably you didn't even realise at that point, but that was probably a seed sowed that you love this and you wanted to be in this kind of environment. But do you feel that being where you got to today was born in you in terms of your winning mentality and a mindset, or do you think it was coached and there were certain coaches or you were taught it throughout the years, or do you think it's a combination of both?
I'd say a combination of both. I definitely had it instilled in me from a young age that's what I wanted to do, mate. To be fair, that was my only driving, my only goal in life really, was to become a footballer from an early age. I mean, I think I was just enjoying it at 8 years old. I didn't even think I'd become a footballer. But when I got to about 12, 13, I think that's when it really, that's when I really took a big view on it, where I was like, right. Because at 12, 13, you go to school, and obviously you got the work experience thing comes about, where they want you to go off and do work experience at a company. And I was fishing around thinking, right, well, what I want to be a footballer, so what am I going to do? There's no clubs around here, blah blah blah, this that and the other. So my teacher was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to be a footballer when I finish school. And she kind of laughed at me. She was like, well, no, you need to have a more serious view. Like, what sort of job do you want to have? I said, well, no, this is what I'm going to do. So she was like, well, there's nothing really available that you can go and do. So I ended up going to a Clark shoe factory with my granddad for 2 weeks doing work experience. And obviously, no disrespect to them, they're doing them jobs, and they're happy doing them, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I was at Bournemouth at the time as well, till about the age of 14, and I got released at 14. So it was all doom and gloom. I thought, all right, it's not going to happen now, because they've released me, a professional club, and they were the only club that was really pretty much close to where I was from. And but then luckily the teachers at my school were they knew how passionate I was about football, and they could see that in me from a young age, having me for the 5 years at secondary school. And they put me through for trials for the district and the county, and obviously played for them, done well for them, and then I got picked up by a Reading scout at 15. And then when that actually happened, when I got the trial for Reading, I was like, right, this is my chance, and I'm going to make it happen. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. It was kind of a mentality that no one was going to get in my way. Obviously, once I then got the scholarship from them, my hunger to become that, I had then the coaches who then developed me technically and as a person, and helped me basically become a man, and be able to deal with the tough rigors of what professional football actually is. Because obviously you don't know what's really going to hit you until you become a scholar, and then you're in that environment full time. And as you know, Mike, it's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's brutal,
tough, yeah.
and it toughens your skin up because you're when you're coming out of school, you don't know what's going to eat you, and then when obviously you come into that environment, it's a completely different environment to what you're used to at school. It's brutal, it's ruthless, and that's when you need to then develop other sides of your characteristics and basically become a man and become tough and have a really strong mentality, and that's what they helped develop in me.
Perfect. We've had, this is the third interview. We had Linvoy Primus, obviously Premier League player. We had Alex Woodyard last time, who come back from adversity and really kind of, and all the players I spoke to so far have all had kind of setbacks, like you said there with Bournemouth. But they've adopted that mindset that they use that as fuel to power themselves and prove people wrong or do it for themselves, whatever way they thought. Did you think that was your first taste of really kind of knock back and react the right way?
Yeah, it felt like failure at the time. Obviously, you're a young lad, and your aspirations is to become a footballer. And at the time, you think your world's ended. Even though it's only a setback, you don't see the bigger picture. So, but after that happened, I didn't crumble, mate. I thought, right, where's the next opportunity? And then obviously the Somerset thing came about, playing for the county. And I thought, right, if I do well in these games, hopefully there's someone watching. Do you know what I mean? So I was always 100% on it. So I couldn't give anyone any reason not to give me an opportunity. So it was just lucky for me that a scout had seen me at the county game and gave me that opportunity to then go on a trial with Reading. And then obviously from then on, the rest is history. But the dedication and the hard work that comes with it. The failures just make you tougher, mate, I guess. And and I've always, even in my professional career, I've had setbacks, and I've always tried to come back from them, and and succeeded. So that's what gives you that longevity, I guess.
Perfect. That probably comes on to our first question, actually, from quite a few of our academy members. And so, guys, if you've got any questions for Ben, feel free to drop them into the comments, and we'll try to get through them. If we don't, I'm sure Ben would be happy to drop them messages back to you. I'll relay them to him. So feel free to comment. So our first question was, as a young goalkeeper, and like you touched on even till today, how do you keep positive and pick yourself up after like a defeat or in your case a mistake where it might lead to a goal, which is obviously quite harsh?
Yeah, I mean, like, these are you're listening. Your last line of defence is a keeper, aren't you? And more often than not, when you make a mistake, it's going to be a goal. Whereas we all know the strikers can miss an open goal, and it's nothing said to them. So it's definitely a position which comes with high responsibility. I mean, I've made many mistakes, and I'll probably make more mistakes, in the future. But like I said, you need to be very, very, very strong mentally. The way I tend to deal with it is, if I've made a mistake in a game, obviously you can't. The first thing you got to do is not dwell on it, because if you dwell on it for the rest of the game, it's going to impact your performance negatively, and you're going to be nervous for the rest of the game, which is something I learned when I was younger. Because when I made a mistake when I was younger, it used to make me go into my shell a little bit, and then I found that I used to make more mistakes after that. So deep breath, clear your head, and then basically the next thing you do, just be confident that you're gonna do it right. And then after the game, I'll stew on it for probably a night. I'll let myself be moody, because I hate losing. So I'm usually not the best person to be around after a Saturday game in the Saturday night. I'm usually not great to be around. And then obviously Sunday, get out of the mind. Monday, come in, and then usually with your coaches, you go through the clips and see what you did wrong, why you did wrong, why I saw it that way, why they saw it that way, and then what you can do to rectify it. And then obviously the next week of training, try not to dwell on it and correct the mistake, because a mistake is something that happens that you haven't meant it. Do you know what I mean? It's just usually down to a technical area or a lapse in concentration. So we try not to dwell on them things too much, and then just crack on. It's you're going to make mistakes, so as long as you learn from them and don't make them mistakes too many times after that, then you'll be fine.
Perfect. So just as a young goalkeeper, from all your experiences and your careers, kind of learnings and achievements, what kind of tips could you give? 2 or 3 tips to the kids at Six Soccer Academy on just how they can obviously be the best person and the best player they can be and achieve whatever they they want to achieve really with your experiences, and what tips could you give them?
I think first of all, you're getting taught by the coaches. So obviously the young lads, but obviously I work around professionals for the last 12 years, and sometimes they can't be too humble. So always be humble. Listen to the coaches. Don't always think you're right. Take what they say on board, because they're always trying to help you improve and get better. So I'd always say listen to the coaches, and just be 100% driven in every session that you do to try and improve yourself, whether it be with your technical aspects, like your heading, your passing, your shooting. Always give 100% to that, and if you do that every session, you're more likely going to improve. And just be hungry, and have a winning mentality.
Yeah, a lot of them kind of tips. They're great tips. They come back to enjoyment, though, don't they? You've got to enjoy what you're doing, and to kind of have that hunger to achieve. And there are days when you don't really want to go and train or do that extra bit of practice, but they do count, don't they? That's them 1% that really kind of make you the difference between maybe an average player and a good player.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Sometimes we go outside and it's absolutely lashing down with rain and it's windy, and it's not always the best conditions to go out and training. But the best players and the players that last the longest are the ones that just you practice more than what they should do usually. So obviously training is a big thing for that. That's where you really improve your game, and I've always lived by that. The more I practice something, the better I get at it, whether it be at my distribution or whether it be in my handling. The more repetitions of something that I do, the more I know it's going to get better. So you really got to have that. Yeah, you got to have that enjoyment factor, especially when you're younger. I think you need to enjoy it. Enjoyment's the biggest thing. But if you're really looking to take it seriously, and you want to be a part of that a game when you're older, professionally, then when you get to about 14 or 15, I'd say that's when you need to really get serious with it and really have that winning mentality, not let anyone get in your way.
Perfect. We've got quite a few questions coming through that we'll get to. But I just want to talk about kind of your journey in the game now and your achievements. I'm just going to say a brief couple that I know of. Obviously, feel free to add some more. So, we're at Brentford. We won the league in 2009, 2008, 2009, and that year you actually got the Golden Glove for the league. 20 clean sheets, which I remember us.
You never heard the end of that, did you?
I definitely didn't know. I think where was my Golden Glove? Because I'm sure.
You didn't do anything, mate. It was me like getting you out of trouble every 5 minutes.
Probably was no, mate. But then at Cheltenham, you then obviously went to win the league again, to promotion to the Championship. I think there was a record number of points that year, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And you again made PFA Team of the Year that year, which is a very commendable achievement.
It was weird, mate, because obviously that's quite early on in my career. So like 21 and 23, I'd won 2 leagues, and I just thought this is easy. Do you know what I mean, Mark? You just think, right, this must happen every year. Do you know what I mean? So my first 2 really full seasons of playing football, I'd got promotion and won league. So it was a really nice feeling early on in my career. Where I was thinking, this is easy. But then little did I know, obviously coming away from that, the groups that I played with and trained with, I found there was a common denominator there, was that the lads were all together, mate. Do you know what I mean? They're all brilliant. There was no poisonous characters in the change room. Even the lads that weren't playing weren't poisonous, and they were trying to bring the team up, and they were buzzing for the team when they were doing well. And I think that's a big part of having successful teams, mate. Is that you got great characters in that squad, and that's something we had at Brentford and something we had at Cheltenham. So something I found was so important in football is that you have a really good change room.
Yeah, brilliant answer there, because you nicked a couple of the questions in advance, which I had down.
Oh, really?
Obviously, so it's a great answer, because you're saying about there, well, again, as a team collective, what it actually takes to achieve. And obviously, from a managerial and coaching point, that's something you need to really study and look into, because football is a team sport and it's not about one individual. And when you get a group of boys or girls, obviously, depending on what age you are, if you can get that team collective working together, it can do really good things. So I remember us talking to folks. So for your first kind of professional start in football, you started at Reading. Obviously, you got picked up by Reading, like we said. But I remember you always talking about your time at Crawley. So that was kind of your debut. And I remember you really talking passionately about it. I'm guessing because that was your start in football, which really kind of opened your eyes and thought, I can do this. Why did you always say that to me? What do you remember about Crawley, and why were you so passionate about it?
Yeah, that was a really poignant moment for me starting out in the game. Really, to be fair, because I just come out of the academy and I just signed my first professional deal, and I was adamant I wanted to go out on loan and test myself against men, because I'd never played against men before. Do you know what I mean? I was 18 and I'd only played in reserve games, but it wasn't like, it wasn't as a first team competitive match, and I really wanted to put myself in that situation. I wanted to throw myself in at the deep end, and Eamon Dolan at Reading, God bless his soul, he managed to get me a loan deal at Crawley, because Crawley were actually in administration. They got minus 10 points at the start, before the season started.
They had some great players there at that time as well, didn't they?
Yeah, so they were in a bit of a dire situation. So they didn't have goalkeeper. So they sent me down there. I went on a trial game about 4 days before the season started. Played a game, and I think he kind of took a shine to me, the manager, John Hollins, and he obviously told me he was going to play me against Rushden and Diamonds in the first game of the season. I always remember the game because it was my first professional game, even though it was in the conference. I think it still counts as a professional game. I think, because I think some of the players were professional then. I think because Crawley were full time. Crawley were full time, and I remember lining up in the tunnel, and Rushden and Diamonds had this striker called Leo Fortune West, and he was an absolute beast, mate. He was a beast, and I was looking at him thinking, oh my God, I'm in for an afternoon here, because all I heard about the conference was it was balls getting swung into the box, corners, this, that, and the other. And I thought, nah, do you know what? I'm going to have it with him. I'm going to have it with him. He was probably like 30 odd, and I was 18, so naive. And mate, I was launching myself into everything, coming for crosses, getting whacked by him, snarling at me. And I remember coming out off the game, and I was battered and bruised, and we won 1-0. And I come off, and I thought, yeah, I can do it. Do you know what I mean? And that was the moment when I knew I could do it, because I was playing against men for the first time, and I come off with a clean sheet, battered and bruised, and I actually love that feeling of being battered and bruised. Do you know what I mean? And so that always stuck with me. That first game with Crawley, with Rushden and Diamonds, and obviously winning 1-0. And then we actually won the first 3 games and drew the fourth. So we cancelled the 10 points out within 4 games, and then went on to do quite well that season. So that was my first obviously experience in men's football, and I really enjoyed it, and look back at it with great memories.
Great stuff. So even as a young man at 18 years old, there, Ben he was eager to kind of prove himself, taking himself out of the comfort zone of maybe 18s football or 23s, whatever it was at the time, and go and play against men. And I did the same thing when I was a young kid. You play pre-season friendlies against some of them non-league teams, and I remember, this nose doesn't look like this for no reason. I remember the same thing, a huge centre forward. He didn't care how old I was, and he was purposely elbowing me straight in the face. And I remember going into it and kind of eyes watering and just going for it again, and not giving up. I didn't care what happened. I wasn't going to give up. So how we can translate that to that kids, again, when you're out your comfort zone and something that's really tricky, you just got to keep on going, because you will get what your rewards with that perseverance and that real positive mindset. It's a great answer there, Ben. Obviously, when we're going to kind of tie this up, so with Brentford, we won the league, we said, and obviously you won the league's Golden Glove. What we talked about, obviously, the collective of what you think it takes to achieve, but for you individually, what do you think it was down to that you got that Golden Glove, and the attributes that really stand out to you that year? Don't talk about the defence. I want to.
I was half decent that year when I. But to be fair, mate, I don't. Apart from the squad, obviously we had a good team, didn't we? We had good players that Scotty brought in, and maybe hadn't done well at other clubs, but he knew. I think he really done his research to find out what the characters were like. I think he used to go into great depth for that, meeting players before he signed them, and having a chat with them and getting a feel for what they were like as a person. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously,
what for you individually? What was the kind of highlights? Was there any saves, the real important moments? Do you think you matured as a player? Like you talked about your confidence coming for crosses. How do you think? What was a real standout game for you, or something that you nailed everything you wanted to do?
I can't put my finger because I can't really remember the games, but I just knew at the time that the manager gave me loads of confidence. He made me feel like I was like the best keeper in the league. He used to like the way he used to speak to me, and after games, he'd give me a pat on the back and say, "You've done well today." And yeah, I did that. That just used to fill me with confidence, and then I'll just run through brick walls for him at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I think I can't put my finger on a certain game, but I just remember being from the first spell at Brentford to that one. I was really consistent. I think for a young keeper, I don't think I made many mistakes, and I think that was probably the key to me. Obviously getting the Golden Glove. I wasn't prone to mistakes. And I think I was down to the confidence that he gave me, and it gave me that consistency.
Yeah.
So, I just think I had a really consistent season of performances. Do you know what I mean? I think I was like a 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 most weeks.
And consistency is key. Definitely in a professional game, consistency is a key factor. From that time, I remember your distribution, which was something that you worked on quite a lot in training, which I'd noticed. It was the early days of the kind of side volley or a side zinger or whatever you call it now. It's probably evolved.
Zinger burger,
yeah. It's probably evolved now. But Ben used to work on, and I'm guessing that was from your younger years at Reading, the side volley to the angle, to the right wing or the left wing. It was almost like a weapon because it would be putting it straight on the winger's foot or the head, and we'd build attacks from that. So I think that was a really powerful message for the kids, how your distribution can actually be you are part of the team, and you can actually play a big impact. I see with these keepers nowadays, they're getting assists with some of their passes.
I think it's a great tool for a counter attack when the opposition are breaking on you. They say they cross a ball into the box, you cut out with taking a cross, and your left wing is bombing into space, and you can hit a little shallow side volley into his path to run onto. I think it's a massive tool, which is something that I learned at Reading. I was fortunate enough to work with two keepers that were brilliant at it. So, that was just purely from, I didn't have that before I was at Reading. So I used to watch them meticulously every day at training, how they did it. And then I used to pull one of them and ask him if he could do it with me, teach me how to do it. And then used to consistently practice it every day with him. He was brilliant. A guy called Adam Federici was brilliant at it. And he used to just watch his technique. Obviously, do the kicking sessions with him. So me and him would go out before training and we would practice it. And then after we practice it in the games, I'd then try and incorporate it into the small-sided games. And obviously, then you would have seen me doing it in a small-sided games. You're probably thinking, Jesus Christ, any chance you'd like throwing the ball out or what? But I used to prefer hitting a side volley into the fullback rather than throwing it because I thought it was more direct and got there quicker. So I think that's your first experience of seeing me doing it because I think the boys used to think it was quite strange that I did that in the games.
Great, and a great message there that you actually went and took it upon yourself to go and ask a senior pro, obviously a very well-respected goalkeeper in the game, and a great kind of, I'm guessing, also almost like a mentor as well, that he helped you develop the younger kids' games. So that's a great story.
Yeah, ask questions. Yeah, I think that's what it is, Mark. I just ask questions. Don't be scared to ask people who've got more knowledge than you on something. So he was obviously amazing at it, and I thought, right, if I want to add that to my armoury, then I need to go and ask him. And I just took it upon myself to go and do that. So that is probably quite a good message to give the young kids to ask questions.
Perfect. And Charlton, we skipped to Charlton. So you played consistently for 140 games across three seasons. Obviously won the league, got the Golden Glove. Obviously, I'm not asking this in an arrogant way or anything like that. But what? Because there's obviously some brilliant keepers out there. But what do you think made you? What was the difference with you that you picked the goalkeeper of the year award? What qualities do you think you were selected over some obviously unbelievable other goalkeepers?
Obviously, I don't know the answer to that question because I didn't speak. I haven't asked the players who obviously voted, who my peers or whatever that I play against every week. So obviously, it's obviously a big honour for you. Probably one of the biggest honours to receive in football is when your fellow pros are selecting you for something. So obviously, they're appreciating your appreciating your ability. So yeah, that was obviously a nice moment. I probably made quite a lot of saves that season. I think again distribution was quite a hot topic with that because we used to counter attack with Charlton, and I think the wingers and the fullbacks understood how I played as well, and they knew as soon as I got the ball that they could make a run into a certain area, and they knew they're confident that I'd find them with it. So there was a trust there as well. So I think that was quite. So I think I was one of the only keepers that was doing that in the league at the time because it was obviously in League One. And yeah, we had a good team as well, Mark. Do you know what I mean? So I think naturally when the keeper doesn't concede many goals, even though sometimes he isn't as good as keepers lower down the leagues, I think they get noticed more because they don't let goals in. So I think it's also down to the defenders as well as me. So we had a really good settled back four at Charlton as well. So they obviously took big credit for that, and a couple of them got into the team of the year as well, Michael Morrison and Royce Wiggins. So yeah, we had some really good players on that team.
Perfect. I've got another question from a few guys. Well, I'm going to bring this 3 questions. So they're saying off the pitch, obviously there's some other factors that come into it, obviously your nutrition. They're saying how do you keep flexible, stretching and things like that? How do you develop other sides of the game which aren't practiced on the pitch or the training pitch to do that? Them extras, particularly obviously nutrition is important for your health and your stretching. Obviously you've got to be stretching top corners, bottom corners, got to be all over the place, haven't you? So I guess you do a lot of work off the pitch. What do you do personally?
I mean, yeah, nutrition-wise, big on nutrition. We're lucky really with the clubs that we play at that we've got that at our disposal. We got sports scientists and nutritionists to ask questions. Again, you ask them because obviously everyone's different. So I speak to them in depth. What do I need to eat? What sort of times do I need to eat? What do I need to put in my body? So he helps me with that, and I stick to it quite well. And yeah, it's not had any problems with that. So yeah, nutrition is important. But again, you can find out your body type on the internet and look up what kind of nutrition your body needs to get into the shape that you want to get into. So that's all at all our disposals really, if we really want to find that out. And then obviously yoga. We do yoga at work. We get someone in to do lessons with us, and do that once a week. Try and keep the muscles supple. So yeah, we're just lucky that we got all that kind of stuff at our disposal. If we didn't have it, then I'd probably seek it out myself anyway, because obviously I'm 32 now, and as you get older, you need to look after your body a lot more than you do when you're younger. So I obviously take those measures now. Probably I look after my body probably now better than I did when I was younger, mate. To be honest, because you think you're untouchable when you're younger, don't you? So you just don't think it's ever going to stop you, and you're immortal. So but obviously once you kind of get to my age, you realise what's important and what you need to do to keep yourself in the best shape possible.
100%. Build them good habits when you're younger, and it will serve you well in the long term. So after an unbelievable 3 years at Charlton, you moved to Leicester, which I've read that you just couldn't turn down the opportunity of Premier League football. Obviously you were out on loan, but you came back in November, so you were there for an in and around pushing the other guys in goal. Obviously because you're training with them, you're pushing them to a higher standard as well as a teammate. What was it like to be around that group at Leicester? The year they won the Premier League behind the scenes. So I'm guessing a very tight knit group, very underrated. I wouldn't say underrated, but undervalued in terms of comparison to Liverpool, Man U, Man City, etc.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like again, firstly, like I said to you earlier about the other two teams that I had success with. The changing room was pretty much just looked after itself really. There was no idiots in there, and even the lads that weren't playing, when the boys were doing well, we were buzzing for them. Do you know what I mean? We were up in the stands watching the game. We're celebrating when they're scoring. You don't really see that often when lads ain't playing. Yeah, of course you're going to be disappointed, but when you want your team to do well, that really generates a good feeling in the changing room. And I think the lads who were playing could see that from the lads that weren't playing. And I think they're not the most important players in the squad, the lads that ain't playing, but they're a big factor in keeping the harmony right, because it's got the potential to be quite disruptive when lads who ain't playing are getting moody and getting negative, and they can have a negative effect on the squad. So first and foremost, there was none of that there. Everyone was positive every day, and everyone wanted everyone to do well. So good group dynamic to start off with, and then obviously the lads had an unbelievable winning mentality. Even we had group chats and stuff like that, and they just believed, mate. They just believed they were going to win every game. And it was funny because that season, the lads seemed to score the same goal every week, and no team were wising up to it. You know, that ball set back into Danny Drinks, and then he was clipping a ball over the top of ours, 1-on-1 with the keeper, and it was crazy. The goals we scored that seemed to be carbon copies, and no teams were really dropping off against us. And obviously, you had the frightening pace of Jamie Vardy up front, and you know he was just destroying teams, and they just couldn't handle him. So. Yeah, I think they got to like February time. They beat Man City away, and I remember in training after that game, they were just saying that we're going to win the league. It's in our hands, and you know no one's going to take it away from us. So they had a firm belief, the squad of players that were playing, that they were going to win the league that year, and nothing was going to get in the way. So yeah, no nervousness about them. They just so mentally strong and winning mentality, and yeah, it didn't surprise me that they won the league in the end because of how they were every day in training.
Perfect. And I remember watching on Match of the Day, watching you make your debut, your Premier League debut, and I was buzzing for you because you made some massive saves that day, and I was like, "Go on, Ben." Just describe to us I'm guessing obviously your debut in the Premier League is a big moment. I know you went on to play quite a few more games in the Premier League and squads in the Champions League and things like that. But what was that debut in the Premier League like for you?
Well, yeah, it's about 6 years ago now. That it feels like a long time ago now. Obviously, I obviously had conversations with you probably about when I was at Brentford. Obviously, my dream was always to play in the Premier League. That was always my dream from when I started, you know, in the pro game, and you know, I was going to get there no matter what. And luckily, you know, they came for me in the summer. I think because I always tended to play well against Leicester. The 2 seasons in the Championship, or the 4 games I played against them, I always tended to have a good game. So I think, you know, they took a shine to me from that, and you know, obviously then took me on a free from Charlton, and I got my debut through unfortunate circumstances. Obviously, Casper got injured, and then you know, I got to make my debut, and it was just you know, just a real big sense of achievement. Even though obviously I wanted to play in that league on a consistent basis was really my dream, but then to get that first game was kind of like a big weight lifted off the shoulders, where you know you kind of something you dream of doing, and then when you finally do it, and then have a good game with it. I think, I remember coming off the pitch buzzing, but the only thing that killed it that day was I had to do drug testing. I got drug tested, so I come off buzzing. It took me about an hour and a half to go to the toilet, and then when I got back in the change room, everyone was gone, so I couldn't even like enjoy the moment properly. So
killer.
Yeah, I know, mad mate. And then my mum and my stepdad were there, so they had my car up there, so I didn't travel back with the team. I just kind of like had a beer with them, and then drove home. So I kind of went home that night and didn't really celebrate, but it was it was a big moment, and so it's one that I look back on fondly.
Just a personal question. So looking back in them days at Bayern Munich with your dad, and obviously now, I know obviously in the Championship there's some huge clubs, and obviously Premier League clubs with 40, 50,000 seat stadiums. But what was that atmosphere like from the crowd? And did any part of you think back as a kid and think, yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and I'm here doing it? Was it a surreal moment, or were you just focused on the job in hand?
I think, obviously, that's. It would be nice to like think about it that way, but I think when I was coming to the game, I think it was just more just pre-match nerves and that. Really, I didn't really think of that. But you know, obviously, when I was in the game, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing every week. And you know, it was a long journey to get there. So yeah, to obviously do that. Obviously, yeah, personally, I'd like to be doing that on a regular basis. Obviously, knowing that I can do it, but. Obviously, it's been few and far between since then. Probably only made about, I don't know, 25 appearances in the Premier League, but something I want to do on a consistent basis. But yeah, obviously at the time, big sense of achievement, and it was long. It was well worth the wait.
Perfect. Obviously, since then you've been to loans at various clubs. Obviously, the coronavirus has put everything on hold for a little while now. So a few people have asked about what's it like training with Wayne Rooney. Quite a few people are chucking that in.
I get asked that a lot, mate. Yeah, I do get asked.
I'm guessing you do. Yeah, I didn't really want to touch on it, but just I suppose this interview's with you. But so looking back on your younger self, obviously at 32, would there be anything you'd do differently? Obviously, from what you know now to what you knew then.
It's hard. It's hard, really, because obviously hindsight's a beautiful thing, mate. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, because I enjoyed the struggle of trying to get there. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed, I was at a big club in Reading at the time, but like, I enjoyed the struggle of going out to like lower league clubs and really earning my corn and working for it and gaining respect in the lower leagues and from like obviously teammates and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed that part of it. Like I wouldn't have chose a different route, to be honest. I wouldn't have, because I think nowadays, I think the kids just, it's too easy. I think it's too easy for them. They don't really, almost like, maybe this is just my opinion, but maybe get fed with a silver spoon a bit. I don't think they really go through hardships, in the academy, and that they don't really, face big challenges. Coaches being a bit stronger with them, a bit rough with them. I don't think coaches are allowed to do that anymore. Whereas for me, when the coaches was rough with me, yeah, I hated it at the time, but really he was helping me. Do you know what I mean? He was helping me, toughen up and become a man and get into that position where I could handle myself, on a men's stage. And I think the kids, it's too easy for them a little bit from what I've seen at clubs I've been at. So I wouldn't change that. I love the route I took, getting roughed about and stuff like that. And it really made me, see the other side of football. And and then when they come to the Premier League, it felt worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. So yeah, wouldn't change it for the world. Everyone's journey is different, guys. There's different routes that you make it. Obviously, with a professional last week who got released, that's come back and had to work a job. So Ben's talking about the challenges he put himself, but he was very focused from school. Obviously, both of us wouldn't recommend not wanting to go to school, and obviously, but he knew what his dream was, and he was single-minded and ruthless in wanting to achieve that dream. So I think that's commendable, even though I do recognise school important. Schoolwork is very, very important. So great stuff, Ben. It's been really, really interesting to get behind the scenes. We've covered a lot of topics there throughout your whole career, your personal views on a lot of things, some hidden stories. So no, thanks for your time, mate. Just to kind of end, is there anything else you just want to add yourself? I've said already we'd be happy to kind of pass on some questions if we've missed them to you. But is there anything personally you just want to have a message to the viewers?
No, just I just hope they enjoy their sessions, and keep working on it. If it's something that you love, just keep improving, and like the more repetitions you do of something, the more you're going to improve at it. So the more chance you're going to give yourself. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing at their ages, they're still quite young and just enjoying it at the moment. So just enjoy yourselves. Have fun, and if you get to the stage where you're like 14, 15, and you really want to take it seriously, then obviously you need that. Just know that you need that real strong, tough mindset and thick skin, and don't be afraid of setbacks and making mistakes, because they happen to all of us.
Yeah, perfect. So I think them qualities will stand everyone in good stead. Whatever you do in life, obviously, it's not all about football. It's about whatever you're passionate about, finding your passion and achieving it. I think them qualities are quite transferable. So thank you very much for your time. I know you're going to go off to do some fitness right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, going off to do some agility stuff. Get myself ready for Monday.
Perfect. Well, thanks for your time, mate. And I'm sure I'll speak to you soon.
All right, mate. Top man. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye, mate.
Bye.